Is Jesus coming soon? Why is it some people say Jesus is coming soon? Why do people say you better get ready because Jesus is coming soon? Well, there are 7 things that are described in the Scriptures in the end times that really need to be in place or coming into place before Jesus returns. What are these things? Well, the first one is probably the most significant, and that is Israel being restored to the promised land. You see, in 70 A.D., the Romans destroyed Israel, leveled Israel, removed the Jews, scattered them all over the world, and so Israel as a nation did not exist. But 1900 years later, Jews began returning to the land, and in 1948, Israel, with the name of Israel, was restored to the promised land that had never happened before. It'll never happen again, where a nation is restored with the same name to the same land. That prophecy came true. The prophetic clock began to tick. Jesus is coming soon. Capacity for mass destruction. You read the book of Revelation, you find out there's going to be global war going on. There's going to be wars and events where thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people are killed. Is that possible? When they wrote the book of Revelation, when John wrote it, 95 A.D., there was no weapons of mass destruction. How could you destroy 100,000 people in a day? How's that going to happen? Well, 1945, the United States dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japan. 100,000 people were killed in a day. It's happening because now we have the capacity for mass destruction. The bombs are bigger, stronger now. It's all in place. Wasn't in place in 95 A.D., but it's in place now. Jesus is coming soon. What about the groundwork for a one world government? You see, during the tribulation, the Antichrist is going to set up a one world government with himself as the leader. Well, that's never happened where there's really one nation governing the whole world, but it's going to happen. And the groundwork is coming into place. In 1945, after World War II, the nations all came together in the League of Nations, and for the first time, they were voluntarily, not being forced, voluntarily uniting together, setting the foundation, laying the groundwork for the Antichrist to eventually set up a one-world government in which he will rule during the tribulation. So is that in place? Yes. Jesus is coming soon. Well, we understand that in Europe there's going to be a unity in Europe that the Antichrist uses to rise to power. And it's got to be especially around the economy. And has this happened? Yes. 1957. Europe united with a common economy, common currency, the euro. 1957, Europe has a united economy. Is Jesus coming soon? So the answer is yes. That had never happened before 1957. Global communication. We read in the book of Revelation that 2 witnesses are going to be killed in Jerusalem, and they will be seen all over the world at the same time. Now, that was impossible, especially in 95 A.D. when John wrote it. It seemed totally impossible. But in 1969, when man walked on the moon, guess what? People were able to see that event through satellites, global communication, all over the world, seeing one event at the same time. It's been possible since 1969. Is Jesus coming soon? I think so. The Bible describes in the book of Revelation an Asian military power with 2 million men in the army. 2 million man army. Now, at the time that was written, there was only 2 million people on the whole planet. But Today, since 1982 actually, China went over 1 billion people in population. If you got 1 billion people, it's easy to field an army of 200 million. India now has over 1 billion people. It's very possible for an Asian military power to have 200 million soldiers. Is Jesus coming soon? I think so. Book of Daniel, chapter 12, talks about an explosion of information. People going all over the world, gathering massive amounts of information. How is that possible? You couldn't have done that when Daniel was written 700 years before the time of Christ. That was impossible. But, think about it. 1983, the internet was created. The computer came into play. Now, it's no big deal. You pull out your phone, you can go all over the world at the same time, gathering massive amounts of information. In fact, they say the amount of information in the world is doubling every 2 years. And through technology, you can do that. There's an information explosion going on. Wasn't possible before. The military of 2 million men wasn't possible before. Global communication wasn't possible before. The united economy in Europe wasn't possible before. One world government, not possible before. Weapons of mass destruction didn't exist before. Israel in the land, not until 1948. Clock is ticking, my friend. Jesus is coming soon. You better get ready. Jesus is coming again.